Good morning and happy Friday to you. We're up and we're out and we're just doing a lot of our little chats and bell chats. I've been doing this, I don't know, since probably, I think it was July 5th. May have been later, but it seems like I've done a few of these. But what I want to do today is talk about change. Now, this morning, when I woke up, I was doing my normal morning things, getting dressed, getting ready to come out here. And my TV was on. And on my TV, there was a program, Joyce Myers. Now, I'm not particularly religious, but she did a program on change. And I'm not going to go into a big religious, but I thought, change. That can be a topic for diabetes. Now, we all are hoping someday for a magical cure. But until that happens, there's little steps we all have to take. Years ago, when glucometers came out, I can remember, there were glucometers, but they weren't something that you took around all the time. The first one was sort of like a miniature brick. And you had to wash off. You got a little squirt bottle and you had to wash the blood off the stick. And then you had to put it in and it would give you a reading. Well, change happened. The next thing you knew, you were doing blood sugars 4 times a day. And it replaced urine testing. Now, some of us who were around for that time, urine testing was easy. You did the combination, you dropped in the pill, and everything was hunky-dory. But then, we had to change this, and we had to work with something. So I had to turn around. And, we thought, oh my God, blood test. Oh, that's gross. Oh. And it took an awful lot to change. Now, no one does urine tests. And there were people, and I gotta admit, I thought the exact same things. Oh, I'm gonna hold on, I'm gonna hold on to every last, I'm not gonna do blood tests, I'm not gonna, and I eventually started doing them. But I had to think, how long would it take to really learn it and to utilize the information? And, I thinking back, new systems, and if you want to have good blood sugars, whether your doctor told you need that, and you go to diabetic daycare, and they always tell you things that you need to do, and Well, that can't work. I've been doing it this way and it works fine. Well, if you're not getting great blood sugars, guys, it isn't working fine. I get an awful lot of different ways to try to control my blood sugar. And, some of them I truly don't think will work, and some haven't worked, but that's their job. They're there to try to make sure that your blood sugars, become, sorry, I should stop saying that your blood sugars work better for you. And my blood sugars, God, that's just as bad. My blood sugars are up and down most of the time. But, if someone comes up with a new idea, I'm willing to give it a try. It may not fit into my lifestyle now, but change, you should be open to this. And I hear I'm not going to diabetic daycare. They don't know what they're talking about. Every time it's a different change. Well, your doctor wouldn't send you there. You're sent there to learn some things and maybe try a few things a little bit different. So, listen for a change and try things. And I don't mean for a day. Oh my God, nothing really works. It's all so terrible. You've got to give it a try, maybe to the next visit. Or until your doctor says, well, no, we see that's not working. Just don't be complacent of what you're doing now. There are still diabetics who won't do their blood sugars. And can end up in the emergency room because they won't do the simple thing. I'm really tired of this roller coaster. And, the adage, a little goes a long way, but then a lot's got to be better, doesn't work. And a lot of diabetics still think that way. Oh, it works for me. Now, I've told the story before, and I'll just reiterate it again, there's an awful lot of young diabetic women, teenagers, we'll call them teenagers, excuse me for a moment, and they will stop taking their insulin or not hook up their pump so that they will have a better figure because their ketone levels will take care of the weight. Oh yeah, that would be a great thing for me. The only problem is a number of them end up in a medical condition called diabetic ketoacidosis. And this is where your blood turns, doesn't turn all into acid, but there's a high acid content, which is not good. But, oh well, I've got to lose 5 pounds for the big date. Well, that's not great. Eating sensibly, following your diet is probably the better way to go. But, so often, I'll binge eat here, I'll binge eat there. Oh, that's okay, I'll just not take my insulin or, unplug my pump. But I'm sorry, girls. That's something that has to change. But you know what? It is so hard for them to change. And it takes people a long time to admit, okay, maybe that nurse was right. For myself, we've made some progress. And a lot of times it is, what the nurses have said. And if you're going to say, oh, well, something hasn't worked, maybe you need to take an honest look at yourself. Did you follow exactly what they had said? Or are you using, oh, well, it didn't work, well, maybe, we'll just use that as an excuse. Because maybe I'll just fall back into my comfort zone. Well, you know what? You rarely achieve anything in your comfort zone. Back in the years that I was working, you'd go and you were thrown into a different situation. And that's when you really started to succeed, started to grow, started to learn, and then you got into different comfort zone. So yeah, you were comfortable with one boss, and the company promoted them and gave you a new boss. And they had different expectations, and you were upset, but you learned to meet their expectations. It's the same with diabetes. The nurse is there to offer suggestions. They've gone through a lot of schooling to enabling them to do this. So maybe we should listen and implement. But don't try it once and say, oh yeah, that made me feel sick. And I was sick for ages after that. I just liked my dose I had, so I went back to it. Well, maybe you need to rethink your patterns. And sometimes things can get better. But, oh well, no, I'm comfortable in doing it that way. Oh, I'm comfortable doing it that way. If you don't change and you don't get your blood sugars down, then things can happen. You can get complications. Now, for myself, I could get different blood sugars throughout the day, all through my teens. No one was able to figure it out. And, I kept hearing the same things. Oh, you must be cheating. So, and I can remember, and I know it's another story, God forbid, years ago, we had got this new GP. And he was a good family doctor. And he kept, he would send me for my fasting blood work. And then I had to go back there 3 hours, 4 hours later. And then I had to go back 4 hours later after that. And he couldn't believe the wide swings I used to get. So, I got called into his office one day. And just like many other GPs, I was accused of cheating. Well, I was put into the hospital. And I was there all summer. And still, while I was in the hospital, oh, you're cheating. But that was more for my father. Well, you shouldn't be eating Big Macs all day. I didn't eat Big Macs in the hospital. But he has it in his mind. And I've talked about this before. And, I constantly had that, oh, it was my fault, Oh, you're drinking Coke. Yeah. You're drinking Coke in the hospital. Or, back then, you could have lemonade. And, lemonade was fine and dandy. So, the only time I really drank it was when I was low. But, people determine, oh, you're using low as an excuse. Well, I don't know. That's what your glucometer said. And, blood sugar, I'm sorry, I keep saying that. Blood sugars tell the whole story. There's something causing your highs, something causing your lows. And whatever it is, you have to be aware of things. I still don't know what's causing it. And I said it again, I'm sorry. But there's always times that I would be placed sort of on supervision. I don't know what makes me go high. I don't know what makes me crash. It would be so much easier if it was just me giving myself extra insulin. Oh, that would solve so much, wouldn't it? And then, well, oh, are you upset? Oh. But I'm not, and I know I'm not. So what I would really have to say is, if your doctors, your nurse, whatever, your care practitioner, whoever says, well, maybe you should really try this. You're welcome to say, oh, well, we tried that before and this was the circumstances. But don't sort of just give up. Change a lot of times is good. We get situated. Oh, there I go again. Sorry, I caught myself. Years ago, sorry, not years ago, there are old people who, they would take the blue, the yellow, and the red pill. Every day, the blue, the yellow, and the red pill. Well, the doctor said, well, this time I want you to take the blue, 2 greens, a yellow, and a red. But, they go get the prescription filled, but, oh, I don't like the way the greens make me feel. So they'll stop taking the greens and they'll go back to the blue pill, the yellow pill, and the red pill in that order. People don't like change. But if you don't try it, how are you going to know if it truly works for you or not? Diabetics are a daily thing. I heard one time there was a lady around here who had diabetes, and she has since passed from another. But she used to say, "Oh, I've given up going to the diabetic daycare or diabetic clinic," because they want to change something different every time. Well, they may want to try to start and do something small at first, small steps. But, that doesn't work. And now they want them to change. But things can't change unless you honestly give it a try. And it may take a couple of visits for them to work out a total plan for you. Doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong. But you have a job to do. It's kind of like, oh well. I have diabetes. I gotta leave it all to the doctors. Nothing. I can't do anything on my own. But, diabetes is a journey you have to take. Your doctors give advice. Your dietitian will give advice. But a lot of times we have to change. And we have to change in order to grow. Think of it this way. Are you doing the exact same things you did as a child? Do you get up and play with your favorite red truck? Or your favorite dolly? No, you grew. And the only way you can grow an awful lot of times is through change. I think, what was it? Pebble had dropped, or the stone had dropped, or you need to have the ability to change. Now, there may be a new procedure. Oh, but I like the old procedure. I used to love taking a look at, what was it? The old meal choices. I found that so easy, especially if you were going out shopping. You could look and, some things you could see. If you had a child going to like a birthday party, and a slumber party, and they were sleeping over, and you could see what cereal or how much they could have of a certain cereal. All the other kids were having this cereal. It's intriguing to see. But now we just count carbs. And I got to admit, sometimes counting carbs are a little bit touchy. Well, not touchy, but hard to do. Because sometimes there's hidden carbs, and I like the apps now, and I can breakfast or something or whatever it's called. I can see a. I have an app where I can type in, okay, two pieces of white bread, 2 pieces of multigrain, 2 eggs, and it will calculate the carbs, and it's being fairly good. And so now carbs are easy to count. And I think yesterday we went through what you eat, and fifth is 15, and it becomes second nature. All change will become second nature until the new thing comes along. So, there I go again. I got that one. But people are accustomed to the way they are. My doctor told me that, and some nurse tried to change things. But they do it for your own good. So you've got to think about that and think why they are asking you to change. And you honestly have to give it a chance. Just doing it one day and saying, oh well, I tried it, it didn't work, it's not for me. It's not giving a change a chance to happen. Anyway, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.